What's up, everybody? It's Jake Ross with Century 21, the Harrelson Group down over in Myrtle Beach. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the housing market. So if you watch the news, you've probably been hearing that now is the worst possible time you could be buying, and that buying a home in 2023 would be a foolish mistake. And in this video, my goal is not to discredit these points, rather give 5 alternative considerations, just so that you all can have a balanced viewpoint when deciding whether buying this year makes sense. So please stay tuned. I guarantee I'm going to present some points here that you're not going to find anywhere else. So let's get started. The title of this video is why buying a home in 2023 may make sense. And why do I emphasize that word may? Because even though I am a real estate agent and my goal is to sell homes, I truly do not believe this is a one-size-fits-all answer. For some people, it very may well not be the right time to buy, and they may be better off waiting till next year or later down the road. It may not be right to buy at all. But for other people, I do think now may be a right time to buy, depending on what your situation is and what your goals look like. So in this video, 5 reasons why buying a home in 2023 may be the right decision. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is interest rates. So there's a lot of talk in the housing market world about how much interest rates have gone up over the past couple years. And there's no denying rates have risen. One thing I would like to point out, however, is the rates from 2 or 3 years ago were not typical rates. Those were historic all-time lows. And even these rates, when you put them in historical context, are not that bad. That's the first thing I want to mention. Second thing I want to mention is understand your financing options. You know, there's so many different loan programs out there now, and I think as a buyer, there's just a lot more options than there have been in the past. And another thing I know that some lenders are doing is they are offering free refinancing if you buy now within a certain window. So in other words, what that would look like is, let's say you find a home today, you move forward with it with today's rate. And then, 5 months down the line, rates drop a bit. So this would mean that if you buy today, rates drop 5, 6 months from now, whatever it may be, you will be able to refinance for free, get that lower rate within a certain window of purchase. So that's definitely an option for those of you looking to finance that are a little bit concerned about where interest rates are at now compared to a few years ago. Number 2, this is one of my favorite ones that I like to tell people: more negotiation power. Excuse me. I can't stress enough how important this is. Over the past couple years, particularly where I'm at in the Myrtle Beach real estate market, homes were selling it was a bidding war. At or above asking price was the norm. If you were a buyer, it was all cash deals were trumping everything. Stuff was selling at or above asking price. There were no contingencies allowed, no closing costs, no inspections. So you were pretty much just offering whatever the seller wanted and not looking out for your best interest as a buyer, because if you were looking out for your best interest as a buyer, you weren't going to win the offer because there were so many people competing for that same home because inventory was so low. Now, I would say we still have low inventory, but homes are starting to sit a little bit longer because of the rates going up a bit. So I think one of the best advantages I can say about buying in 2023 right now is that rates have kind of driven a few buyers back, and homes are starting to sit longer, which tends to mean a lot more negotiating power for a buyer. So if you were someone that lost out on a home you wanted, 2-3 years ago, right now, I can tell you that multiple offer situations are very rare unless it's a very competitive, well-priced property. So this may mean you may be able to negotiate terms into your contract that would have never been considered over the past couple of years. So having that negotiation power, being at price, closing costs, home warranties, repairs, you name it, I think it's a lot more likely to be considered in this market than it was in the past couple years with the crazy real estate world we were in. Number 3, low inventory areas. But before I get to that, I want to read you all a quote from Mark Twain that I think sums this up. Buy land, they're not making it anymore. And I think that point sums up what I'm talking about with low inventory areas. So several areas here in the Myrtle Beach are near what I would call the closeout stage, where there's very few opportunities left to purchase in some of these areas. Examples that I'm thinking of off the top of my head are Grand Dunes. If you're looking to purchase new construction in the Grand Dunes, I can tell you there are very few lots left. I can only think of a couple off the top of my head. New construction is almost closing out in the Grand Dunes. So one of the things I want to caution people on is if you're waiting for rates to drop, but you're trying to get into an area that's almost in the end of being closed out, if you will, it may not be there on the other side when the rates drop. So definitely keep that in mind before ruling out purchasing in 2023. Cherry Grove is another area where land is pretty much gone that way. What people are doing now if they want to build in North Myrtle Beach in that area is they're doing teardowns or renovations, if you will, because there is no really land left in that area. So keep that in mind if you're purchasing in a low inventory area. Number 4, don't bank on the crash. And what I mean by that is I am not an economist. I don't claim to be an expert in what the housing market will or will not do, but I just think that, there's so many variables that can influence things, and all it takes is one event to change things. So I just think that it's a very risky gamble, if you will, to bank on that, because Myrtle Beach, particularly where we're at here, I think there'll always be more buyers than there will sellers, just because of the nature of the area. It's a popular tourist destination, lots of second home investment properties, and more people are coming to Myrtle Beach than going out of Myrtle Beach. So with that in mind, basic supply and demand, when demand exceeds supply, very difficult for prices to come down. And I think that's going to be something that's going to hold true to Myrtle Beach for the foreseeable future. So that's point number 4 I would make. And the last point I want to leave you all with is merely with a question. What happens if rates do crash? So I think everyone's kind of waiting to get back in the market for, let's hope rates crash. We want rates to go back down so we can, get back in the market. And I think, that would definitely be helpful for rates to drop. There may be some unintended consequences of that. One, first and foremost being that if rates drop, I think you're going to go back to the real estate environment we were in 2 or 3 years ago, where everything was a bidding war. Stuff was selling at or above asking price, and you had very little negotiation power as a buyer. So just keep that in mind when, deciding whether now is the right time to buy. And again, I don't think this is a one-size-fits-all answer. For some people, it very may make sense to potentially, postpone things, till next year or later down the road. But for other people, I think with these considerations, I hope that you all see that you have options if you are looking to purchase now. It's not all gloom and doom like some of these people are making it out to be. So just some encouragement here on this Friday evening. I do apologize before we end that it's been a little bit of a delay between this video and my last video. Switching brokerages, been trying to get all the setup in order, but I do plan on getting back on a regular content posting schedule. And tomorrow I will be going and doing some neighborhood tours in the Myrtle Beach area. So I hope you all found this video useful and that it kind of gave you a different perspective about the housing market and whether buying in 2023 makes sense. And if you all could do me a huge favor in helping me grow this channel, if you could like this video and subscribe to my channel to be notified of any new videos I post about Myrtle Beach real estate, be it neighborhood tours, market updates, just general real estate terminology, pros of living in Myrtle Beach, things to know about moving to Myrtle Beach. Again, my goal of this video is to really, and my channel, is to give you all with as much information as possible so that you all can make informed decisions about purchasing real estate in Myrtle Beach, selling real estate in Myrtle Beach, and whether it is right for you. Last question I would say is, where do you all think the housing market's headed? Do you think that now is a good time to buy with these points in mind? Please let me know in the comments below what you think. And if there's ever any areas you want me to do tours of or anything, again, please let me know. So that's it for this video, guys. Really appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and until next time.